What's up guys, it's Grant bringing you guys a new video. And when I was looking at the fights that were coming up this weekend, we've got a really big UFC card coming up. And I was thinking about one fight in particular, and I realized that there's a pretty massive implication coming up for this fight that not a lot of people are talking about. So as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail of this video, this fight is Alex Pereira's next fight. Now of course, if you know about the card, you know that Pereira is going to be fighting Jan Blachowicz. Now, again, not a lot of people have been talking about this, but I thought about it and it's something that I wanted to share with you guys and get your opinions on it. Hopefully we can have a little bit of a discussion in the comment section. So most of you who follow the UFC probably know that Israel Adesanya tried moving up in weights to go to light heavyweight to try to become a double champ and lost that fight to Jan Blachowicz. Now we know that a lot of the fight, Jan was taking Israel down, tying him up, using that strength to hold Israel down. Now Israel was probably the better striker in terms of technicalities or technical skill in that fight, but of course Jan is very strong. He's got that Polish power and he can knock out basically anyone in that division. And of course, since Israel was coming up, there was the threat of Israel still getting knocked out despite the fact that he was probably the more technical fighter. Now you're probably wondering, why am I mentioning this? This fight doesn't really have that much to do with the fight that's coming up between Alex Pereira and Jan Blachowicz, but it absolutely does. Israel and Alex are very, very similar fighters, coming from that kickboxing background and not having that strong, ground game background, that strong jiu-jitsu, strong wrestling. Yes, they do have tons of experience in it, but compared to some of the guys in the division, they do not. Now, Jan, on the other hand, isn't, necessarily known for, say, something like his wrestling. Like he's not, say, for example, like a Khabib when it comes to the light heavyweight division, but he is strong and he does have a lot of experience on the ground. He is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, comparison to, I believe, Israel is a purple belt now. I believe that could be different by the time that I'm recording this. Haven't checked in a little while, but that difference on the ground was definitely there. Now, if we go and look at the current fight about to happen, like I said, Jan does have a black belt in jiu-jitsu and is, fairly good at ground game. And then Alex actually, I believe, has a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, correct me if I'm wrong. But if we look at the comparison between Israel and Alex, Israel, in my opinion, was winning a decent amount of, the clinches and the ground game against Alex. That could just be my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about that. But, like I said, I think Israel was winning that. Now, why that's important is because when Israel went to fight Jan would easily be able to, take him to the ground. Well, I don't know about easily take him to the ground, but he was able to take him to the ground and hold him down there, and Israel wasn't able to, really offer much when he was on the ground. Now, if we're looking at it in a comparison, and I know MMA math doesn't really work like this, but if Israel Adesanya was unable to, really provide anything in that fight against Jan when he was on the ground, and Israel technically won, I guess the grappling match, we'll call it, in his fight against Alex, how is Alex going to do against Jan when it comes to, the ground game and the clinch and things like that? Of course, we have to keep in mind that Alex is going to be heavier in this fight than he was against Israel, but losing in the grappling exchanges against Israel Adesanya and then moving up in a weight, despite the fact that yes, you're going to have your normal strength, you're not going to be as drained as Alex typically would be trying to move down a weight class, it's still going to be a significant challenge for him when he goes up against Jan. I think he's going to have similar problems to what Israel had, and I think the fight is going to be very similar. I think personally that if Jan is able to take Alex down and keep him down, that's, I don't want to say an easy fight for Jan at all, because it's definitely not an easy fight, but I believe that that is his path to victory. Like I mentioned before, yes, he has knockout power, he can knock anyone out, but the fact that he's up against someone like Alex Pereira, who is now going to their natural weight and looked like a killer knocking people out at a weight where he was draining himself, I think it's going to be really important for Jan to not try to prove anything, especially now that he's getting, older in age, it's easier to get knocked out. I think that his best route, in my opinion, is to try to take it to the ground, because he knows that Alex, didn't win that grappling exchange with Adesanya, but Jan was able to defeat Adesanya when it came to the grappling exchanges in the ground game. So I think that's definitely something that Pereira needs to watch out for. But now, on the other hand, the thing that I was really thinking about is this fight could have a massive implication. Say, for example, if Alex is able to beat Jan, he was able to beat him when Israel Adesanya was not. that also could lead up, to another matchup between Israel and Alex. Yes, I believe Israel said something along the lines of like he's done, he finally beat him, they don't need to do another rematch or whatever. That could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I heard that. But, if Alex does go out and does beat Jan, he's now beat someone that was able to beat Adesanya. And if Alex wins this fight, there's a very good chance that next he'll be fighting Jamahal Hill for the title. I believe Jamahal Hill is currently injured, so of course, can't fight. But if he goes on and Alex fights Jamahal Hill and beats Jamahal Hill, which I think is a very good possibility because, Jamahal Hill is a great striker, pretty good ground game and stuff, but I personally think that the bigger challenge for Alex is going to be fighting Jan Blachowicz. But if that's able to happen, and if Alex is able to beat Jan and then go on and beat Jamahal Hill, I think that sets up for a massive, massive fight, another match against Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira, and this at a new weight class. I think it's, yes, it's the same fight that's happened multiple times over in kickboxing and in MMA, but it's at a new weight class where the threat for Israel Adesanya is going to be even bigger. Going into their first two fights, the threat for Israel was obviously the power of Alex Pereira. Again, they're both from that kickboxing background. They're both very technical when it comes to striking, but Alex was seen as having, the stronger punches and more knockout power, despite the fact that he was, knocked out by Israel in their last fight. But again, if the next fight between these two is at light heavyweight instead of middleweight, Alex is going to be closer to his natural weight. Israel is not going to be closer to his natural weight, so the strength advantage, which was already for Pereira, is going to be even further in Pereira's corner. And I think that that would make for a massive matchup. I think that this would be one of the, biggest fights in recent times in the UFC. Like I said, yes, it has happened already, but when you put, the stakes on the line, at an even bigger, impact than they already had in the first place for both of these fighters, I think that that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to want to tune into and a lot of people are going to want to watch. So guys, let me know what you think. First off, do you think Alex Pereira is going to be able to beat Jan, or do you think Jan is going to take it to the ground, like I said, and win that fight? And again, what do you guys think? Do you think that if Alex is able to beat Jan and then able to move on and beat Jamahal Hill, that it would be a very cool rematch for Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya at light heavyweight? Would you guys like to see that fight? Let me know in the comments and we can discuss it. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.